Tarot Tribe, it's Ethany, and today I'm going to have a bit of a chat to you about what to do when a tarot reading makes absolutely no sense. And this comes from a place of both the tarot reader as a professional, and also if you've had a reading from a tarot reader and none of it makes sense. This can be also relatable to oracle readings or angel card readings or any type of divinatory service or even intuitive service. It happens to all of us, first of all, let me just say. So if it does, and it has happened to you before, you're certainly not alone. We are all human and we all make mistakes, and we're all communicating, so sometimes those things aren't communicated in a way in which the other person can resonate with straight away, and especially if we're dealing with things intuitively, it can get a little bit muddled. So there's always going to be that it may happen from time to time, but let's break it down and have a look at how we can make it easier on everyone involved when a tarot reading doesn't make sense. So the first thing is what I like to call my prevention guide for tarot readers and tarot professionals. So preventing anything that can cause confusion is much better than trying to find a cure in the moment. So here's a handy little checklist for you that you can go through to make sure that you're setting yourself up for success when conducting a reading. So some of this is also really good for those who are also going about to get a reading. So there's a few things in this little mini checklist that actually is good for both sides. So the first thing that I would recommend for you to do is to check your energy. Where is your energy when the reading started? Did you connect and ground? Have you cleansed your space and your energy? Was your day really stressful? Was your day really emotional? Are you bringing a bunch of baggage into the reading? If so, take some time to actually get that gone from your space. Even just consciously checking in and checking into your energy is going to really help make the whole experience a lot better, because you're conscious, you're bringing your mind at least into a place of awareness. Rituals can really help with this as well. Smudging or cleansing the space, using aura sprays, bells, however you like to prepare your sacred space. Some of my favorites is to actually smudge and also use my Aurosome or Alkaline Joy sprays. I've also had the sprays that were made for me for clearing space. I love to light a candle. I love to cleanse the area, my cards and myself, and say my protection and guided prayer to start my readings. It sets the mood, it gets me in the right frame of mind, it gets me in the right space, it has me really conscious and centered and present. So that's really good for me. So find what works for you and let your intuition guide you for sure on that one. My second point is clarity. So try to keep your mind focused when you are with a client. This will depend how you read. Some people like to kind of go into a meditative trance-like zone, but you can train your mind to be still or completely tuned into your client when they're talking to you, especially about their situation, about the question, when you shuffle the cards or while they're shuffling the cards. It's really good to hold that space. So no checking Facebook on your phone while they're shuffling, which is also just very rude. Get rid of anything that can be distracting. Make sure that the TV's not on and that you're not expecting phone calls or visitors, because you're creating and holding a space for yourself, for your client, and for the reading to happen. And it's going to be much smoother and much more professional if you're able to do that. And then let's see if you've got any deck energy blocks. So I did kind of touch on this on the first point, but even if you're not a reader who lets their client handle their cards, or you read cards remotely, energy can build up. If you're feeling like your cards are heavy or they're not giving you clear readings, it may be time to cleanse and recharge them. My favorite way to do this is to leave them out under the full moon with crystals, with the crystals I work with overnight. They feel all sparkly and new after this. I love it. I actually just love seeing them all out, often on the windowsills under the full moon. It's quite a beautiful thing. So we all love a little TLC, and our spiritual tools are no different, and you can really feel the difference after you've done this. So that's my prevention, a few of my prevention tips. So then what do you do if you're in a reading and you're a tarot reader and there's still confusion? So first of all, let's look at the query. Let's look at the question. Because crappy questions lead to crappy answers. Go figure. Unclear questions lead to unclear answers. So go back to the question that was asked. There is nothing wrong with you as a professional tarot reader to ask for some clarity. Was it a closed question? Was it vague? Those are some of the most annoying questions to work with as a reader, in my opinion. And I always ask for clarification, and I never work with closed questions. You can go back. It's a part of your practice. It's a part of becoming a professional to help your clients come to the best questions possible. So I'm personally not the kind of tarot reader who likes to give a reading where I have no idea what's going on. I know there are a lot who do it that way, but I'm not like that. It's just my style. I like to read in a more holistic style. So I like to know what's happening around the person as well as what I'm getting intuitively, and their energy. And so my practice is that. But you will find what works best for you in time and through practice and through trial and error of different things. But I find that due to the depth of the tarot and the levels that each card has, context for me is very important, or at least having an idea of what's going on is very important, because I don't like shooting in the dark, especially when it comes to how deep some of these, the cards are. They have multi-layered meanings. I have a blog post that's completely on questions. So I'll pop the link below, because it is an important part of the tarot process. And as a tarot reader and a professional, it is a skill that you bring to the table when the client comes to you, and often they can be quite confused or emotionally very invested in their situation because it's their life, and you can help guide your client forming the best questions for their reading, because they really don't have a question. I guess they want you to help them get them somewhere. So as a seasoned reader, as a professional, you'll learn how to do that. So then we've looked at the question and the cards are out and you're still stumped. Okay, so these are 3 things that you can do that you can specifically put to relating to the cards that can help you get back and get started. So the first one is action. So what is actually going on in the card? What has been shown physically in the card happening? What stances are the figures, if there are any, in the card taking? What action are they playing out? How does that relate, or what does that mean in your reading to your client or the situation? So one of the big reasons, and I talk about this a lot in the Academy, Tarot Readers Academy, and I've talked about this a lot in a lot of my videos, one of the reasons why I don't recommend pip cards for beginners or decks that are very minimalistically illustrated is because you can't really do this with a pip card, because a lot of the cards don't have figures or a lot of detail. So that's just a big reason. When you are stuck, these 3 things can help, but these 3 things are really reliant on having a good deck. So check out Tarot Essentials and the Tarot Reader Academy for a whole bunch of other stuff on that. But yeah, the action. So what's going on in the card? What are you bluntly being shown? So that's the first thing you can look at. The second thing is to get all cozy with the feels. How do you feel? What is the feeling you get attached to this card? How would you feel if you were in the situation of a person in the card, or even if you were just plonked in the middle of it? How does that match up for your client and for the query that your client has? And if your client in their situation was represented in the card, how would it feel too? So we can go there from a feeling of, okay, so someone's having difficulty in their relationship, and you already know how that feels. It's not a very nice feeling when you're having difficulties in your relationship. And you can say that may feel a certain way, and then how would that feel in relation to what we're seeing in another card? and how that would feel. So you've got the two feels meshing together, shaking it up and going, this is the feel baby that they had. So that's another thing you can look at, is the feeling and how you're feeling about it. I got that loving feeling. And then the third one is impressions. So what are you first drawn to in the card? What symbol jumps out at you, or what is so predominant in the card to you, whether it's a color, whether it's an overall feeling, or there's a number of things. So like for a lot of tarot decks, there are a number of stars in the sky, or there's something in the background, or so what is or it's an elemental association. So what are you first drawn to, and how does this relate to the reading, and what revelations does this shine onto the reading? So all of these things can help you get the connection you need to get back on track with your reading. One really important tip that my tarot mentor gave me was that silence and dead space can feel like it goes on forever when you're in a reading. So she recommended, and now I'm recommending to you, that you just start talking and allow it to get back into a place of flow. Pick one of the prompts here, whether it's action, feeling, or impression, and start talking. It rarely means that you'll be dribbling out garbage. It just means that it'll take a few seconds for you to get back in the zone and to get the reading back on track. So then what do you do when you've got confusion after a tarot reading? So situation says you just come from a tarot reading, or you finish up over Skype, or you've read your email reading and you just feel like nothing gelled at all. My biggest piece of advice to you is to give it time. Not everything is understood, apparent, or revealed in an instant, no matter how much our impatient human minds wants it to be. Record the date, the moon sign, the sun sign, whatever you want to record on there, how your little pinky's feeling, what nail polish color you're wearing, what underwear color, I don't really care. And just a little of what's going on around the situation, or what you've what you have in the reading, and then try not to dwell on it. So record it all and then put it away. And then often it does take time, but things start to click into place later on. I've had many emails from clients who've contacted me weeks or months after a reading, letting me know that even though in the moment they weren't sure what it meant when they got delivered a certain message, they now get it, or that the events did unfold as predicted as the most likely outcome. Now, there is a chance that the reading was just a bust. Sometimes these things happen. We are all human, as I mentioned, and tarot readers are not perfect. Hopefully this happens very rarely, as it's not a nice experience for either party, but it does happen. If after a time it still doesn't look like this reading resonated, or nothing that was given as the most likely outcomes have come to be, a lot could have changed, that your outcome now is no longer anywhere near in alignment than it was. When we have new information given to us, we then have a choice of the paths that we go down. So you just may have gone down another path, which then made everything else change and your outcome change. You could look down a situation and gone, hell no, I'm not doing that. And then gone down another route, made another decision, taken life into your own hands. And decided that you wanted something different, and therefore your reading may not look the same, and it may not have the same consequences and actions 3 months' time than it would if you just kept on going down the same path. So these are my strategies for both the tarot reader and the tarot querent, or the client, for what you can do when a reading doesn't make sense. What do you do when a reading doesn't make sense for you? I'd love to hear, or if it's happened to you, or if you've had a reading and a few months later you're like, oh, that's what she meant. Leave your comments below. You can check out over on the blog too. I have this all transcribed. And, if you're looking for what's happening for you in 2016, do you have those 2016 Enchanted Year Tarot readings for your love, life, and career? These are a massive 27 card reading, and they come via email or Skype, so you can see what's going to come up for you in the whole of next year. So So head on over to ethany.com to check out those offerings, and thank you so much for watching. And if you like tarot stuff, if you are into all things mystical, then please subscribe to my channel, and thanks again.